But you just read in Amos chapter 3, verse 6, that God commits evil. And if here in 1 John it is telling me that all who commit sin is of the devil, then why are you telling me now that God is not of the devil? Understand what we are saying? Why are you telling me God is not of the devil here, when the Bible tells me that God is of the devil? Understand? God, Amos chapter 3 and verse 6 tell us clearly that there is no evil that will be done in any land, and God is not the one who did it. And if God is the one who did it, and the Bible goes on to tell me in 1 John chapter 3 verse 8 to 10 that he that commits sin is of the devil. So then, here it seems to me, because we could conclude and say, well, okay, the Bible is clear, God is of the devil, and close up this. Can't we? We cannot. Because we know definitely, even though these words are mentioned, even though these things are said, we know that this is not of God. We know that. Right? And this is why I said, principle has to be applied. But if you ask anybody, is God of the devil? Nobody will say God is of the devil. Nobody will say God is of the devil. Even though you believe God is this destroying being. God is this one who will kill all sin and sinners. But you will never say God is of the devil. We'll never say that. Right? But these passages teach that God is never the source or cause of evil. Therefore, when texts like these are read, we know without a shadow of a doubt that God allows or permits evil, or else agree that God is of the devil. It's either God permitted, or you will have to agree that God is of the devil. And which one do you accept? God is of the devil, or God permit or allow evil? He permits. Because we know for sure that God is not of the devil. And the only way he cannot be of the devil is he commits no sin. Because anyone who commits sin is of who? Is of the devil. Therefore, had the curse devoured the earth. All right, let me leave out this one. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. We read that text earlier on, Genesis 1:31. It is obvious, therefore, that the Creator did not create a single noxious plant. We agree with that? He did not create a thorn or thistle. We agree with that? We agree with that? After sin entered, poisonous plants sprang up. In the parable of the sower, the question was asked, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? How then had it tares? The master answered, an enemy had done this. Was this the blame game being played here? Was this the blame game being played here? But in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 18, the Bible tells us that thorns and thistles the earth will bring forth from God. But here it seems like God is making an excuse for himself now, right? And he's blaming Satan here. Because if in Genesis he is the one saying that he did it, he brought thorns and thistles upon the face of the earth, and now it is saying that, hey, no, it's not me who did that, you know. It's Satan who did it. It seems like the blame game is playing here, right? It seems. No, but God is quite correct, because he is not the one who brought the noxious plants. And we find this in Matthew chapter 13, verse 27 and 28. So, because if we just read that God brought thorns and thistles, the question is the Bible contradicting itself? Is the Bible contradicting itself? In one place it's saying he did, and in another place it is saying that he did not. So this is where proper interpretation comes in. And this is where we ought to know, and we need to know for sure how to apply the Bible principles. This is what we have to be able to do, how to apply the Bible in its correct perspective. In other words, we cannot say that those texts are not there that says God did it. We cannot say they are not there. But the question is it God who really did it? Right? All thorns, thistles, and poisonous plants are the result of the perversion and degeneration caused by Satan's government of sin. The curse, listen to this carefully, the curse then is the result of sin. Not because of the result of God, it is the result of sin. When God pronounced the curse, he was simply announcing the results of transgression. That is all God was doing for mankind. God was just telling mankind what was the result of sin. All right? Yet it was the judgment of God. And how was it the judgment of God? For he judged correctly that since Adam had sold all the world to Satan's government, he, God, could do no more than to allow or permit Satan's government of sin to take over, because that was man's choice. Right? So God had no choice in the matter. He had to give up. He had to let go. He had to allow man what they wanted. Satan's government is the curse. Only God's government can give and maintain order, beauty, perfection, and life. Therefore, when God handed the world over to Satan's government, he knew that degeneracy, disorder, decay, evil, and death would be the terrible results of Adam's choice. He knew this, so that is how he could have judged correctly, because he knew. And he could tell you what will be the outcome. And that is all God was doing. When God pronounced the curse, he was simply declaring the consequences of sin. That's all God was doing. He was just telling us what is the consequence of sin. Consequences which will come not from God, but from the terrible separation from him which sin causes. And God was only declaring that to mankind. This is what sin will do. And if what sin will do, understand, I am not the one who brought the curse upon mankind, but I'm just declaring to you what sin will do. And that is what God was doing. So question, is God the destroyer? Is God the destroyer? Zechariah 4 and verse 6. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, nor by power, but by my spirit, say the Lord of hosts. So how God operates? Not by might, not by power, but by what? By my word. Understand? So God only operates by his word. And who is the word of God? Jesus Christ. And if God operates by his word, and God sent his son, he sent his word upon the face of this earth to declare him, according to John 1:18, to show who he really was, then all the Bible is telling us that we could only understand God through Jesus Christ. That's the only one we could understand. We could understand God through, and no one else. So here it is. The Bible tells us in Desire of Ages, Pen of Inspiration tells us in Desire of Ages 7:5-9, God could have destroyed Satan and his sympathizers as easily as one can cast a pebble to the earth, but did not do this. And why that was not done? Rebellion was not to be overcome by force. Compelling power is found only under Satan's government, not under God's government. Are you getting it? The Lord's principles are not of this order. This authority rests upon goodness, mercy, and love. And the presentation of these principles is the means to be used. God's government is moral and truth and love. Truth and moral. And God's government is moral, and truth and love are to be the prevailing power. Truth and what? Truth and love is the prevailing power in God's government, not compelling force. But sometimes we say, well, God's so powerful, he could just snap his finger, he don't really have to use compelling force. God, we look at compelling force as sword and shield. We look at compelling force as, in combat. And if God could just snap his finger and it happen, well, then God ain't using no compelling force. You understand? But just God, by destroying anyone, he'll be using compelling force according to the Bible. All right, so we'll hold up after this paragraph here. We'll finish this later. Some of you are too sleepy. Some of you are too sleepy below there. All right, Bishop now reminded me it's 1:30. I was looking at 1 o'clock. Right, Bishop now reminded me of 1:30. Right? So, are you going to stay up with me till 1:30? All right. So we'll do that. Acts of the Apostles, page 77. Earthly kingdoms ruled by the ascendancy of physical power. But from Christ's kingdom, every carnal weapon, every instrument of force is banished. So there's no instrument of force in Christ's kingdom. So who is the destroyer? Exodus chapter 12, verse 23. Exodus 12:23. For the Lord will pass through to smite the Egyptians, and when he see the blood upon the lintel and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door, and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you. 1 Corinthians 10:10. Neither murmur ye, as some of them also murmured and were destroyed of the destroyer. Who is the destroyer? Who is the destroyer? Sickness. This is from Ministry of Healing here. Sickness, suffering, and death are the works of an evil power, antagonistic power as it is called. Satan is the destroyer. God is the restorer. So who is the destroyer? Satan. And it is clear. God is the destroyer. Satan is the destroyer. Satan is the destroyer, right? So Satan is the destroyer. And that is that. Sorry. 113. 113. Acts of the Apostle, page 77. And you see, if we follow the Bible in a principle form, it is very clear where God is concerned. It is very, very clear where God is concerned. It will take time to search it. It will take time. Because, one time, a friend had said me, but, Revelation is the hardest book in the Bible to understand. I say, why? Because you're only looking at them beasts and them things in Revelation, right? You're only looking at all the beasts and all these things in Revelation. And that's why it will be hard for you to understand. But if you just follow the life of Christ in the Revelation, Revelation is an easy book to understand. Because what the Bible calls it? The revelation of Jesus Christ. So it is not a closed book. It is a revealed book. And that is what Revelation is. 1 Samuel chapter 12. All right, when God told Samuel to tell Saul to kill man, child, beast, everything, right? So question: why would God tell Saul to kill everyone, man, woman, child, beast, everything? But did Saul do that? No. Saul brought back some of the sheep and so on with him. So it seems like Saul was a little more sympathetic than God, right? No, it seems so. It seems like Saul was at least a little more sympathetic. But here did he tell Saul, kill everything. But then Saul, when he looked at the situation, he said, but these poor. So what we could do, we could take them and we could have them in our barns and things. We could have more animals in our kingdom. So it seems like he was more sympathetic. And then, according to the story, God was upset with him. That's all. God was upset with Samuel, with Saul. That's what the Bible says. So if the Bible tells me that God was upset with Saul, then who had more sympathy? God or Saul? It had to be Saul, right? So the question is, so then why if God is not a God of force, a God that destroys, if God is not that, then why did he tell Saul to kill all these people? Anybody willing to help me here? Why did God tell anybody? Why did God tell him to kill everybody? When we say foreknowledge, what do we mean? Very good. Right, very good. Remember, and follow the God compromising here. By the way, is compromise a bad thing? In every circumstance, is compromising a bad thing? In every circumstance? No, it is not bad. But every time we use the word compromise, we always look at compromise as bad, right? In other words, a husband and wife in a home. Bishop said, yeah, what? Sister Cindy, we painting